I'm reminding myself it's a process. I felt so much pain with the draw and reminding myself of the dosage. Cause Rashford put that header wide and Fred got clamped on the inside and Sancho got fouled in the box, but the ref didn't give man the airtime. I'm reminding myself it's a process. I felt so much pain with the draw and reminding myself of the dosage. Cause Rashford put that header wide and Fred got clamped on the inside and Sancho got fouled in the box, but the ref didn't give man the airtime. Yo, this is the OT99 Banter Room where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. Look, we're back again with another show. It's your boy Berms and I'm joined today by NK. That's NK only. Edwin, look, I think that draw sent him off on a high to somewhere. He's kind of fuming out here because we got the draw. He, as much as anyone else, wanted the victory that supports Manchester United, but we didn't get it. Today was another draw, another game where finishing wasn't quite on point, another game where goals are just hard to come by these days, and it's obviously something that's clear, something that needs addressing, and we're gonna get into it. So you know what, obviously it's good to do these videos a day after at times as well, because you get to, you know, comment on it with a clearer head. You can rewatch the game, you can think about certain things that you wouldn't have thought about on a day off. So we're gonna get into it, but before we do, NK, what are you saying, bruh?
Oh, I'm good, man. Good. Enjoyed a good weekend.
Yeah.
So we're here, man.
You're there.
Yeah.
You're there. All right.
All right. How you been anyways, though?
Well, I'm cool, boy. Fam, just here, boy, watching these vids. But it's peak, boy. Every other day we got a game.
Yeah, we got the games. You know what? At least that's good, though. It gave us something to talk about, because we are football fans and we always need something to talk about. So the more games, the more we need to kind of like have something to talk about. And then obviously, after a result like that, you just literally want the next game to kind of like come quicker for us to just have something to kind of like smile about too, you know. But yeah,
it's you know what, yeah. After that Newcastle game, I was just like, I'm fuming, I'm pissed, because we could have won that game. We dropped points. We should have done a smash and grab. And then I kind of beeped it, and I was just like, that draw against Newcastle is not actually bad. It's not necessarily like the worst points we can drop, and I'll say why, because obviously I'm getting clouded because, you know, Tottenham won their game, Arsenal won their game, City won. It seems like all of these guys are establishing that gap. They are establishing a gap ahead of us, but I just remembering that Manchester United are in their own race, they're in their own lane right about now, and I feel like Manchester, we've got to kind of just focus on like ourselves at the minute. We're not in that point where, I know I like to get carried away and all of these things, but I feel like we are in our own point where we just need to focus on ourselves and like evaluate the progression that we're making. And I noticed that the conversation that I'm having now with Manchester United is less about sort of like us playing like lose, not knowing if we're going to even compete in a game or dropping points against any opposition. Now it's all about, we've gone from not creating chances to creating chances, and it's frustrating that we're not putting away those chances. So it's the conversation has moved from just getting taken for a mockery to actually not being clinical, and sometimes we can get lost in a sauce with that yeah. Because, you know, I mean, we just forget about these things. So, and I looked at it with Newcastle, like Newcastle, I deeped at their record. You know, Newcastle, the last time they actually lost the game was against Liverpool in August. And before that, the last time they lost a game, even before that, Liverpool this season, was Liverpool again last season, back in like April, May or something like that, and also Manchester City. Those are the two games.
Yeah, I mean, before the game, I was just because I didn't really know much about them, because obviously, you know, people talk so much highly of them and everything. And I just wanted to kind of like just now about one of the things that impressed me the most was the fact that apart from City and Liverpool, no other team in the Premiership this season has scored more than 2 goals against them. So I already knew it was going to be one of those games where if we're going to win, we're not going to score much goals against them, you know. It was going to be one of those ones where we have to score and probably like keep a clean sheet. But you know, when you said like, oh, we could have done a smash and grab, I disagree with it. I think if we won it, it would have been well deserved, you know. It would have been well deserved, because we are coming, and you talk about progression, we are coming out of this game thinking like, we should have won it because you watch the whole game and you put in today. Newcastle, as good as people talk about it, to me, De Gea didn't really have nothing to do yesterday. You know, they hit the post and the crossbar, which I'm not sure if
twice.
I'm not sure if that came from like a free kick or whatever that came from, but that was the only time that they kind of like threatened us. You know, I think defensively, Martinez, Casemiro, and Varane, they dealt with them. You know, they dealt with them. To be honest with you, the whole defensive line anyway, they dealt with them very, very good. They were not like a threat at all. I think second half, you know, the way the game was going, to me, we looked like more of the team to kind of like score. But we don't create a lot of clear-cut chances, you know. We don't create a lot of clear-cut chances. We create chances. I mean, yesterday, I think the only two or three, I think we had like 2 or 3 clear-cut chances. But then again, it's Newcastle too, when they're a very good team. So you don't expect to get that kind of many clear-cut chances too. But then the ones that we did create, it was two of them was on the play. You know, 2 of them was on the play. The Rashford header on the play, should have scored it. Fred one should have scored it. Yeah, at the end, and even the Ronaldo one too, that Trippier fouled him too. You could say probably should have done better with that, but it is what it is.
But that's the thing.
I'm a bit disappointed though. Just because we had those chances to win that game in the end. I'm a bit disappointed. But before the game, if you told me maybe would you take a 0-0 draw, I would have probably say yes. But after watching the outcome of the game and that last minute miss, I still haven't gone over it yet.
That's the thing, and that's where the conversation has changed. It's changed from us like playing. At times we play poorly. You know, unforced errors like David De Gea, for example, trying to pass up from the back. He passes to Fred. Fred's closed down by like 2-3 man. You know what I mean? Loses the ball or almost caused us conceding a goal from an unforced error. But there was moments in the game where we played really well. We closed down. We was on the front foot, creating many chances. So I guess that conversation's changed. And like I said, from we should have won that game, and it's not being like, oh my days, that we just got totally battered from the whole 90 minutes and we just, you know, won wondrous spectacular goal from someone. There's actually times in the game where we actually like controlled it, but obviously we want to see total dominance from a team like Manchester United. But against opposition like Newcastle, it's tough because Newcastle's a good team. They're on the rise right about now. We can see from their previous record that they've got a lot about them. But like, for me, it's just like I saw these chances, right? And it's more of an indication, again, that Manchester United really need to do something about this forward attack. And it's not even only about... Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you feel like Manchester United are desperate for an attacker, which may be the obvious question, or to solve our issues? Or do you feel like we need to do something about the mentality of some of our players? Because we can see in that game, right, the forwards, it seems like when Ronaldo's on the pitch, everyone, you've seen Dalot, it's happened with Dalot where he's had opportunities to maybe pick a right pass or even take a shot on himself and he's trying to find Ronaldo. Or Anthony, we saw a game where, you know, he's picking out a pass outside of his boot where he's trying to feed in Ronaldo, where he had, you know, Bruno Fernandes and a couple guys behind sort of that defensive line that Newcastle had, where it would have been a better pass. Do you feel like it is like an issue with the forwards themselves in terms of they ain't got the quality to be scoring, or do you feel like it's more about if there's no Ronaldo, we may see a better Manchester United? Mind you, he has been on bench a few times. Yeah,
but I think the thing is, it's a good thing when your midfielders or your wingers are trying to find your striker, you know. It's a good thing when they are trying to do that. The problem we have with Ronaldo is that because of his age now and his leg now, he don't make the right movement to be in the right position for them to kind of like, so even when they find him, it's not in the right place, you know. Because you talk about that ball that Bruno gave it to Ronaldo, Sancho actually made a better run, where he should have actually kind of like given it to Sancho instead, because he was more true in going in the middle. So you say if you go there, then he would have had a better chance of scoring than Ronaldo too. So look, it's just all about, you have a good striker in there with the right movement and you are finding him, more times or not, they will score goals. If Ronaldo was in the right position, for example, that Trippier chance, if he was where Sancho was and he had the ball, he'd have been in a better position to actually kind of like convert that. So it's more about the runs in which your strikers are making, but the team itself is crying for a striker. It is crying for a striker because when we have the ball, when we are in the final third, there's two things. One, the players are not decisive enough to play that last final ball, the killer ball, to actually get that clear catches. It's like nobody is sure who to do that, and this is where sometimes you pay the big monies for those type of like creative players where they would do that kind of like passing people like, okay, you know what, only they could do that, or only a few people could do that kind of like pass. To me, nobody is playing those kind of like true pass or that final risky pass to say, okay, you know what, I'm putting on the plate for you. No one in our team is doing that. And the second thing is that the striker, especially yesterday, Ronaldo, I don't remember how many times he was doing that forward run to actually force these guys to play the pass, because when it's all good when they are passing it, but make that run, Rashford came on that run that Rashford made for Bruno to give it to him where he wanted the goalkeeper for Fred to miss that ball. He forced them to play that because he said, look, I'm making that run. If you put the ball through there, I will get on it. Sometimes I think it's a combination. Strikers need to.
But even before that, Fred picked up the ball from deep, because he initiated that and he ended up on the end of that sort of chance as well. So he got the ball, he looked up. Sancho saw him on the left, upset because Fred didn't pick him out. So Fred now picks up Bruno, who looks up, has that vision, and then picks up Rashford. And I think we'll get onto Fred anyway in a minute, but I feel like where players are making runs, you need these midfielders actively who's got that passing range, or players, like Fred, to be able to make that. If you're going to be in that position, we need you to make those passes for those runs, because it don't come around every day. But when it does come around, bro, we need to be finding our men. Otherwise, it's going to demotivate.
I think vision is a big problem for our midfielders. It is. I think sometimes they just not aware of how many options that they have, and then they only kind of like play the obvious part that they see. But this is the Premiership. Teams are good. Teams defend very good, and when you play against teams that are well organized, you need that unpredictable kind of like passing. The stuff that sometimes I think, what game was it that everything done that pass, and then people started to call them like clever footballers? That's the term that they use against those type of like midfielders. You need those kind of like clever footballers playing those clever passes where those kind of like passes take out like 2-3 guys out of there. Make the striker's job easy, man. And I feel like we are really lacking that with a striker. So as of now, if the team doesn't have those guys to be making those kind of like clear chances, we need to have a striker that's clinical, where those kind of like moments that, for example, that Rashford chances, they take it, man. They take it, because if you're not creating a lot, you need your strikers to be like
clinical,
man. And at the moment, we don't have none of that. We really don't have none of that.
Just to wrap up on that, Ronaldo, because he was in a mix of a bit of controversy. Like, so obviously there was and Newcastle didn't have their own, they weren't exempt of their own issues. That they had penalty claims, they hit the post a couple of times, so they equally have right to be on their end, stating claim for getting something out of this game. But I just look at Manchester United from their perspective. We saw Ronaldo get fouled in the box, where his sort of legs got taken from him, mishit the ball. There was a penalty claim there that got overruled, and also there was the other situation where Ronaldo, nicked the ball off the goalkeeper because the player, the whistle blew, and then the ref sort of like now gives him a yellow card for what he deemed as, I don't know, poor foul play or whatever it is, by putting the ball in the net. What was your views on both that penalty and also like the goal that Ronaldo scored that was chalked off?
You know what? Yesterday, it was clear. The game was at 2 p.m. UK time, right? It was very clear that referee on Saturday went out, had a few drinks, and was hung up on the pitch. Because that performance yesterday was very poor. It was very poor, man. It was very poor.
On both sides, even. I think.
On both sides, because like there was some challenges when there was one time, I think Newcastle Bruno, he fouled Bruno Fernandes which should have been a yellow card. He allowed it to go, but then when Bruno fouled him, he gave the yellow card. That Sancho penalty should have been a penalty. Should have been like a hand him out. And how VAR didn't kind of like get involved in that, I'm not sure. They did look at that, to be honest, VAR, but they didn't even give that, you know. So there was that. You could say that they could have had like a penalty too with Callum Wilson when Varane kind of like brought him down.
That looked like a pen as well. Yeah.
But that goal that Ronaldo scored, you watch it, he blew the whistle. The Newcastle player, he passed it there, and then he kind of like do his sound like that. So that was a signal that he kind of like did. I promise you, when Ronaldo took that ball, if the referee did not blow that whistle and he allowed it to go and it went back from VAR, it would have counted as a goal. It would have counted as a goal. Normally, he should have just not whistle, man. But yesterday was a very poor performance from him yesterday, man. Very poor performance from him yesterday. You know, next time, you need to make sure that he's not hangover for games, man, because those kind of stuff can cost us. Bro,
there was a lot of clear-cut decisions in there. I'm surprised there wasn't one penalty in either way of that game. I'm surprised because I think that the penalty shouts were very valid and very like strong, and I feel like the referee, I just don't know what he was on. I really don't know what it was on, man, because those type of decisions there are very costly to both teams. They're very costly. Like Newcastle's probably thinking, you know what, we could have got 3 points. You know, Callum Wilson blatantly got fouled. At the same time, Manchester United fans are here sitting thinking, you know what, Ronaldo, maybe if that wasn't a foul, Sancho's one looked definitely like a foul.
And there was a Trippier penalty too, which I thought that was a penalty too, because Trippier didn't get the ball. That was a penalty.
Trippier didn't get the ball. He went into Ronaldo's leg. I was just like, you know what, like, this is two. All right, say you cancel that one each of the penalties. Like, we've got like we've got another potential penalty claim, and you know, obviously,
it's allowed too.
Yeah. So I think back to Ronaldo. I just feel like he could have got a goal. I know he would have been the one stepping up to take a penalty. You know, he had a goal choked off as well, offside, where it was just narrowly offside. He dispatched that ball well. So not to be too hard on him, I just feel like he's trying to do his thing. Obviously, he's eager to score when he's on a pitch, but I just feel like personally, yes, we do need a new striker, but I also feel like we've maximised on what we've got. I do feel like these players need to look past the fact that the goal is on a pitch, Ronaldo, and try to make the right decision and stop always trying to feed Ronaldo at every given moment in time, because there are opportunities around the pitch, and if they empower each other to play, bro, we'll probably be walking away from this game saying, you know, here's another goal, or previous games saying, you know what, we managed to get on a score sheet. Anthony managed to get a goal instead of trying to pass it to Ronaldo in whatever game that was. I can't remember. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was like 2 games ago. But even yesterday too, with Ronaldo, like, look, it was 4-2. But even our wingers, especially Anthony, like, as good as he was yesterday with like making like kind of like direct front too, the end product from him yesterday was very poor too, you know, and that's something that he needs to kind of like work on too, because they and you know what, with this kind of like new players like that, I think in time they will learn and kind of like counter too. But yesterday, I mean, when he had the opportunity to either cross or shoot, most of them were just like not coming on to. But it's something that's just going to learn. But Ronaldo, I was surprised he started really. I know the manager said he wanted to kind of like rotate it with like Rashford and keep him kind of like fresh and everything, like he said too. But Ronaldo played on Sunday against Everton. He came on early because Martial got injured. Played on Thursday too. I think he played 90 minutes on Thursday too, if I'm not mistaken too.
Yeah.
With his age, there was no way, if you wanted like to keep it fresh, then he should have been probably play Rashford today and maybe rest what do you call it? Ronaldo on Wednesday, because then that means that he will have like a week rest and be more kind of like fresher for Wednesday than he would have had, what do you call it, on Sunday, because he cannot do Thursday Sunday. Ronaldo just cannot do Thursday Sunday. He just cannot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like especially when it was in Real Madrid, he got managed well. Is there, you know, he got rested certain La Liga games. He got played in the Champions League game where they really wanted to utilize him, and it benefited Real Madrid. Real Madrid ended up doing a madness in the Champions League, you know, getting just back-to-back Champions League, which has never been done before. So I feel like I know Ronaldo don't like it. You saw his posture, you saw his mannerisms. He was upset when he got substituted off. But to be honest, Rashford did come on. He gave a good account of himself. You know, little cameos, direct. You know, it was making those runs and doing all of that stuff. But I just feel like in games like Newcastle, we just need to be a lot more a lot more clinical because, like you said, they don't concede too often, and we have to make sure that when we do get the opportunity, you need to make sure we execute. Look, Casemiro was a guy that I watched back again, and a guy that's been like getting a lot of praise for the silent work that he does. So obviously there's times where he gives away the ball. You know, we've talked about him as well, not getting up to speed in the Premier League, looking a bit slow, but also making certain mistakes, but also like clearing up those mistakes and sort of having an impact in the game. And what I watched as well against Newcastle is a lot of the play was building from Casemiro. He did the silent work where he would like intercept that ball, lay it off to Bruno, who Bruno now, or Eriksen, for example, if he was playing, will make that wonder pass and that pass that people remember. But Casemiro, they forget that he's the one that intercepts that ball. Like even with Ronaldo's goal, he done some sort of clearance interception type pass. So it wasn't just like it's a pass which led to Ronaldo going on to score the goal. We saw with Casemiro, the outside of the boot on the right foot, where he like passed it onto Rashford at the end of the game. Look, this is a defensive midfielder. He's doing passes that you would see Bruno doing or Eriksen doing. You won't find Scott McTominay or Fred doing those type of passes. I just feel like Casemiro's getting into the hang of the game. He's getting into the pace of the league, and hopefully the more he plays and the more he warms up, he could be a good component for us, because he's a guy that can defend and also a guy that can like support the likes of your Brunos and Eriksens in that creativity point of view. What was your thoughts on Casemiro? Do you feel like he's still the wrong purchase again? Do you feel like we wasted 70 million on him, or do you feel like, what's your thoughts on Casemiro?
No, but the thing about that's what it's meant to say. I just feel like, to me, the reason why I said that was that buying him meant that there was not a long-term future for Bruno, because I just didn't see Bruno, Eriksen and Casemiro working, and something need to give, because if you give Bruno a new contract where he was supposed to be a key player, you buy someone who was going to be more kind of like good on the ball. But with Casemiro, one thing I've noticed is since he came in against Everton, we have been less the transition where teams normally used to kind of like hit us on the counter. It has been less, you know. Teams are not really doing that to us more often, you know. Everton, you know, we had them under control. You know, they couldn't really kind of like hit us on the counter because Casemiro was doing it too. Even yesterday too, you know, he stopped a lot of like the counter-attacking moves. He was there making that kind of like tackles, breaking that play, which was very good. But one thing I've been very impressed with him too is the fact that he want to play the forward passing. You know, he want to play that kind of like passes in between the lines. You know, he actually tried that more than our number 8 and our number 10 is supposed to be doing. He tried that more, and I'm thinking that is very encouraging to kind of like see him try to do that when other people are supposed to do that. Yesterday, you know, Rashford scored that, and you're talking about, you know, on a raw kind of like play. You know, he got man of the match yesterday, so that's 2 Premiership game, 2 man of the match award from him too. So slowly he's kind of like getting into it. He's kind of like getting into it too. So he's a big asset to the team right now. Very, very big, as I say, because we had a clean sheet yesterday. Everton, you could probably argue that we should have had like a clean sheet too. You know, so that this is play well. He started 3 games now, and he got 2 clean sheet. You know, and yesterday yesterday I was just very comfortable. Him, Martinez, and Varane, man. I just felt like those are kind of the guys that you say if they hit you on the counter, those 3 guys can defend one-on-one. So yesterday I was very much kind of like relaxed, and as time goes on and we kind of like get better, I think our fullbacks will be able to kind of like push higher up the pitch without having to worry too much about getting hit on the break, man, because we'll be well covered for that position.
You reminded me, you know, about Varane. Like, Martinez does his thing. Like, he's been like a consistent, decent performer for us, a really good performer for us in defense. But Varane coming back was a big like sigh of relief for me against this upcoming game like fixtures. So we got Newcastle. We got out of there, you know, worst case scenario, we pick up a draw, which, you know, for us, I mean, it's not too bad considering what we talked about of Newcastle and their form and everything like that. But look, we've got Tottenham coming up on Wednesday. We've got Chelsea after that. Do you know what I mean? And having Varane fit, you know, we saw Varane where he made that vital interception where many people may not, you know, I don't know if it was Fraser dribbling with the ball or something like that.
Yeah.
He made like one sort of dangerous looking pass And Varane just intercepted it and just blocked out the danger. And I feel like that could have been Maguire, that could have been Lindelof. Lindelof, don't get me wrong, he's been doing okay when he stepped in, but I just feel like Varane, he adds that extra bit of security that keeps you calm, because that ball could have just slipped through. If that ball slipped through, we don't know what we could have been talking about today. And I just feel like having Varane partnering with Martinez is definitely our strongest period. And going into those games, like I mentioned, those are going to give us the foundation to be able to get anything from those upcoming games.
Going forward, I always feel like we score 2 goals, we win a game. We score 1, worst case scenario, we draw a game, you know, because I feel like at the back, they are very, very, like, worst case scenarios, they just laying in 1 goal. Obviously, we know what happened against City. Actually, City, Casemiro didn't play that, but with those 3, I feel like in most case scenario, we don't get dispatched like that. You know, I just feel like, so I'm very kind of like confident with the kind of like the partnership that those 3 are building in there, which hopefully it will allow more of like our creative players, if we had any anyways, to be able to take advantage of that kind of like situation.
Jeez. So that leads me to the final questions. Who was your man of the match of the game?
I'll give it to Casemiro. I'll give it to Casemiro because, as I said to you, he protected, like, what do you call it? The centre back very good. You know, he made his tackles too, and nearly helped us win the game with that pass, man. I'm very encouraged about the way he's playing, and I just hope, like, as time kind of like grow on, he become like a big part of like this midfield, man. You know, the way he playing too, he just kind of like say like, look, I can sit, you lot go and have your fun, and I got your back, man. And that's very encouraging to just do, man. But your boy need to fix up, man. Your boyfriend needs to fix up, man.
Look, I've got to agree, man. I think Casemiro was the guy, man. He was the man of the match. He is. You have to remove yourself from the glitz and glam of the game, of the just the look and. You have to look beyond just the guy who scores or the guy who assists to appreciate what these type of players do. And Casemiro is definitely someone that is like propped up our midfield, give it a bit more robustness, a bit more quality, a lot more quality, I would say. And as the weeks go on, as the days go on, he's definitely anything that's good that's coming out of this team. I think Casemiro at the minute is going to be a big part of that. So he gets the man of the match for me, man. And I hope to see him against Tottenham, man. And I hope to see him against Chelsea. These guys fit. That goes for Varane too, man. But guys, man, it's another episode. OT99 Banter Room. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow on Twitter at 99 Banter, TikTok at OT99 _Banter Room, Instagram without the underscore, OT99 Banter Room, all one word. Remember to comment, like, share, subscribe. Let us know what you think and what your predictions is for Tottenham, man. But until then, we'll be back. Peace.
Peace.